Hello, my friends. This is Marcus. How are you doing today, Adam?
What?
I thought I'd try.
Okay, we have to start again. This doesn't work like that.
Oh,
okay,
I'm
so
terrible.
hey, thank you for watching. Yeah.
See you next week.
Let's start again. CES 2025. Wow. I'm glad we're going next year because then we don't have to wait so long for the news. Really?
Yeah, no, it has been a week, man. Like the news has been coming thick and fast. I cannot keep up. Every time I look online, there is just more and more news coming out, all these different things.
I know.
Very exciting time, man. So yeah, definitely looking forward to breaking down some of the news, at least the way we've received it. So yeah, what do you think, Marcus? Have you got any big thoughts initially off the top?
We need more money because a lot to spend this year. If you're following all through, but I mean, look, it's interesting, LG G5 sounds very promising, but on the other hand, QD-OLED, also nice. Panasonic, I don't know where to start actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where are we starting? What do you want?
Well, you know what?
This is the first question already from Christy. We're not even ready for this.
I know, man. I think that's more of a CRT. Was it? Did you guys see the CRT simulation?
Oh no, I haven't seen this.
No, I think Ariel was talking about that last stream, wasn't he?
Yeah. So this is apparently really good and really great in terms of motion quality, but I haven't seen it. Sorry, I haven't seen it.
So yeah, I will have to go looking for that. He was talking about it, so I should check that out actually.
So what are we talking about first? Nvidia, Panasonic, LG.
Well, I thought we would start with something I'm not very familiar with because you're more into the PC stuff than I am. So I was thinking maybe you could help me understand this new graphics card and if it's good, if it's bad. Tell me what you know.
So, I mean, they announced 5070, 5080, 5090 today. And it's actually, so when they announced it, it was really, everybody was, wow. But after reading a little bit through all the specs and stuff like that, I have to say, oh, wait before you buy. So we have, of course, now, according to Mr. Jensen, let us check it. We have now a 5070, and this 5070 performs like a 4090 for 500, was it $600 US, something like that. So really great price if we consider the performance for a 4090, but it's not a 4090, of course not, because we have just 12 gigabyte of VRAM, which is, it's not enough for having a 4K textures or to play in 4K resolution, let's say like that. And I think the main thing what I took from the presentation is that most of the time they actually showed the new FPS or the performance with frame generation turned on. So there are a couple of comparisons between a 4090, 5090 without frame generation. When we look at this, then at least what I saw is it's not that impressive anymore, the step up. So it's just, when you use all this AI stuff and new frame generation, new DLSS and stuff like that, then you have a big jump. But does this come with a downside? Frame generation improves or not improves, increases the input lag, which is not good. DLSS is great, in my opinion. There shouldn't be a downside or disadvantage. But what's the real performance then? Because,
we do have an interesting comment. Marcus, did you already tell your wife about the RTX 5090?
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
No, I did not say. I did not, because why would I now? I'm very afraid.
Because she will be leaving straight away. So
no, if so, the 5090 here in Australia is $4,000. Okay, just telling you, $4,000 official price from Nvidia. This is ridiculous. I mean, look,
that's more than your TV behind you.
Yes, correct. That's way more than the TV what I paid for this one. That's why people don't understand why I wasn't waiting for the G5. But anyway, this is crazy because again, I have my 4080 here, and I paid for this graphic card $1,800. The 4090 is still around 3,500, 4,000 Australian dollars. Still, I mean, I'm expecting it will drop at some point and then it's gone. Okay, but there's no point for me to buy a 4090 yet, or at this very moment, because it will be not significant cheaper than a 5090, in my opinion. But it's just too much money to discuss about, to talk about this. And a 5080 comes with 16 gigabyte of VRAM. So I'm not happy.
See, as I said, I'm not a PC gamer. I checked out of that a long time ago. So what is the kind of standard entry requirement these days for high-end gaming? How much VRAM are we talking? Like, what does the 4090 come with?
32 gigabyte.
Right.
So minimum is 16, but then it's already not a really a 4K card anymore for some games. Then you have to use 1440p resolution, not because of performance, just because of the VRAM.
Sure.
Okay. So Max, hi Max, how are you? Had to stop and say hi. Thank you very much.
So, okay. So just before we kind of, I guess, as I said, I'm not too familiar with all the PC stuff. So are you saying because I didn't check any of the PC stuff, so I'm depending on you for my information. Are you saying the 5070 is supposed to be a somewhat of an cheaper equivalent to the 4090 with similar performance? Is that what they're pushing?
Apparently the same performance or very similar performance, but less VRAM, of course.
Right. Okay. And
a
so
significant better price. Yeah.
Right. So the VRAM, so less VRAM, that would obviously allow them to make the card cheaper. But then with the reduction of VRAM, what would that force you to sacrifice on your display? Like
resolution.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but we need to keep in mind still, this is all done probably the comparisons with FrameGen and the new DLSS, which is not available on the older cards. So if we're taking this out, maybe there's not much left then from the pure power. So I'm not quite sure about that. So we need to wait for more tests, of course.
So what are the graphics cards? And I used to be I used to build computers when I was young. So I'm assuming they're using PCIe to connect to the boards now, right? Is that what they're using? So is it one of these new cards where it's got so many more new lanes that you have to upgrade your motherboard? Or say, for example, if you purchased it, would it work on your current motherboard?
No, so I'm not sure if they're using PCI 5.0 now, but I think that even with PCI 3.0, you have no problems nowadays. So there's no, you don't need to update or upgrade your motherboard just because of a new graphic card. No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's getting interesting because again, I would like to see the pure raw performance, not with FrameGen and just like that. I'm using DLSS whenever I can because this is really, in my opinion, a great software or hardware software combination or solution from Nvidia, and I don't want to miss it anymore. But FrameGen at this very moment the experience is not as great. That's good,
Forgive my ignorance. So you have to kind of help me understand. So all these new things, FrameGen and all those terms you're throwing out there, are they just some sort of kind of baked in AI type of thing that helps produce frames by kind of, I don't know, is it creating fake frames or something like
Correct.
that?
Yeah, frame generation is fake frames. That's
right.
it. That's it.
So they're just working on kind of being more efficient rather than just driving the performance and just getting more FPS out of the card, so it seems. Is that correct?
That's what I see at the moment. I mean, if it's working good and you can't see a difference between fake frames and real frames, then why not?
Right.
But
that's kind of what TV do, right? When they do that like motion smoothing and frame interpolation, like they're adding extra frames in, kind of putting fake frames in a sense.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
it's the same more or less, yeah. So he's saying Zero Games for me is saying looks like the 5000 series of cards will only be around 30-40% faster than the 400 series or 4000 series in pure performance. I mean, so it will be interesting what the real performance of a 5070 is in the end. If it really can keep up with a 4090. I don't think so, to be very honest. Not without all the helpers, FrameGen and stuff like that. But again, if it is working fine, why not?
Yeah, this kind of comes back to me. It's the same kind of conundrum we run into every year with TVs, with phones, with graphics cards. It's like, okay, you and I, we bought the G4 this year. Do we go out and buy the G5 and pay that premium once again? It's like same with your graphics card. Like obviously next year there'll be the 6090 and
Yeah,
there'll be the
of course.
7090. So
It's never stopping.
yeah, it's never going to
So,
stop. So at what point
so
do you kind of go like, okay, I need to wait a good 2 or 3 years or 5 years until I know that value proposition's there where I'm going to get a 40+% increase over my current setup. So it's
I mean, it's
the
very
price is
simple for me. It's very simple for me. So I have no need to upgrade any TV or graphic card unless I need it for the channel. Unless I need it for the channel. If I can't produce content anymore because something is not, I need an upgrade, then I will upgrade. But just because there's a 5080, 5090 now, I'm not going to upgrade. No, it doesn't work. So for sure not a 5080, because I'm not happy to pay 2,000 Australian dollars for a 16 gigabyte card. This is crazy. Even the card is faster than my 4080 without a doubt. But I will run into issues in 4K gaming without it. No question. That's how it is, unfortunately. We have a lot from Germany. Hey, greetings from Germany. How are you? Guten Abend or morgen. No, it's morning.
So we have a question here from Azri. Questions your thoughts about DLSS 4.
So I haven't seen much because I was working the whole day, but DLSS 3.5, I think is the latest one for the 40 series, is already so good actually that I don't want to miss it. And I wouldn't understand that anyone is not using it, because there is, in regards of picture quality or image quality, DLSS sometimes make it even better, in my opinion, because it's also having a nice anti-aliasing and stuff like that. So I can just imagine that DLSS 4 is, again, a little bit better. And unfortunately, it's just available on the new cards, as far as I understand. But that's how it is.
Man, it just the more I hear you guys talk and the more I understand the prices and the incremental increases, it just sounds like to me that PC gaming is a rich man's sport. Like you have to.
It's the same with the PlayStation 5 Pro. There's no difference.
Yes and no. At least with the PS5 Pro, you kind of make that payment and that lasts you. You don't have anything else to upgrade to. Where graphics cards and PCs, every year it's like, faster SSDs, faster RAM, better graphics cards.
But you don't need to upgrade, of course. You can play newer games also, but then you can't play with max setting or ultra settings.
The temptation is there.
The PC Master Race wants, ultra settings. Of course. And then you need a 5090. Yeah. So it's it's apparently 2,000 euros for 5090. I don't know. It's just the German price. Well, it is ridiculous. If I would tell my wife back then in Germany, I spent euros on a graphic card. Wow, this is crazy. That's really a lot of money. So with euros, I mean, it's a lot of 4,000 Australian dollars. Is just it's how can you sacrifice something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
well, look, it's one of those things like, you've got that 4090 sitting in your machine. If you upgrade it, I would just say you're silly or you have too much money, and that's fine. But if you are back at the 2000 series cards or something like that, 2-3 years back, then that's a different story. Absolutely. So, so shall we cross over to some of the new TV tech?
We have LG G5, obviously, with new panel technology, 4-stack instead of 3-stack. They added a new or another blue subpixel. No MLA anymore. I'm pretty sure they're adding MLA then with the G6 again. Funny you
said that. It's funny you said that because I actually had the same thought the first time I seen that. So, message from Gang08: which devices from the CES were the most interesting for you both? So I think we're both talking about TVs, which is probably what we were most interested in. And I guess we can probably start with the G5 since you brought it up. So am seeing this, I guess it's this ever increasing nit war where every TV, every year, look, I said it on a live stream a couple of weeks ago when we were doing our CES predictions. I said, more nits, more nits. Like it's pretty much all it is. It's like they show you all these fancy words and fancy numbers and whatever. But bottom line is, man, you look at last year, oh, it's less nits this year, more nits, and that's kind of what they push on. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to sound negative because, like, I am excited as an enthusiast. You know, I've got a G4, and I'm like, my initial reaction is like, oh, this G4's got to go, and then I'm like, slap myself in the head. No, calm down. You know, because next year there'll be a better one, and the next year there'll be a better one. And this is something I've kind of said many times on the live streams to many people. If you have a TV that is an OLED specifically, you need at least 3 to 5 years before you're going to notice that jump. You know, if you've got a G4 and you go to a G5, or what was it, the Samsung S95D, and now they've gone to the F, they've skipped E. Is that correct?
Yes,
and they had them side by side. And you could see the differences in brightness, but it's like, if you had the D, do you have to now throw that out to get the F? No,
of course
but
not.
Like as enthusiasts, and as enthusiasts, let's talk about it. Let's get excited. But I think
the best thing
I have to control myself.
I think the best news was actually that the G5 is going back to the glossy panel. You know, so because of MLA, they're skipping or get rid of MLA. They have now the same panel type as the G2, well, not the same panel coding reflection, which is absolutely fantastic because and this is true story. Every time when the little one watches something on the G2 now in the living room, I'm just amazed. It's a very bright room, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And then I go here, and when all the curtains are open, this doesn't look as good as the G2. I have to turn off the light and think. That's how it is. Unfortunately, I think this anti-glare reflection or whatever is one of the worst ideas what they ever had. You know, so Samsung and also.
Sorry, I didn't think the G series had the anti-glare. Are you referring to the Samsung?
No, I mean, but with the MLA layer, they're very similar to the QD-OLED with this pink magenta touch now. The panels are not black anymore, and when you shine light on the panels now, the G4 or also the G3 is handling the light completely different than the G2. The G2 is a mirror. Don't get me wrong. It can be distracting if you have lights in the back.
My
or whatever.
C1 is like that too.
Yeah, but the contrast is much better in a lighting condition. So not a problem here at all, because when I'm doing my editing, when I'm playing, when I'm watching something, there's almost no light on. So it's not a problem. Sure. But always when I walk in here and all the curtains are open, I think this is, wow, it's such a big difference. It's crazy. And thanks God they're going back to.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Well, remember when before you got your G4 and I'd go on the live stream, and I think I used to upset a few people, and I would say, I've got a 83-inch C1 in one of my other rooms, and when I upgraded to the G4, I kept the original C1. I was expecting this like, wow, night and day difference, and I didn't get it. And that's why I don't want to sound negative, but I try to manage people's expectations. That's why I'm saying you need a solid gap to kind of get that wow factor. And you're saying the same thing. You're going back 2 years to a G2 going, man, this TV still screams.
Absolutely.
It's still good.
And you will see so after this video, I will finish hopefully today, and then I will upload it, my comparison between the CX, G2, and my G4. So the CX is already gone. You know, I gave it to my brother-in-law. He takes good care of it. So I can't do any further testing, unfortunately, but I have done my testing. And when you watch it, you know, then you will find out there's really not like a day and night difference. I mean, you can see the difference between the CX and the G4. But then when you look between G4 and G2 or G2 CX, it's interesting. You know,
every year it's a little bit like I have my the kind of the reddish kind of tint you're referring to. Yeah. If I'm being brutally honest, like you know my gaming room where my G4 is.
It's dark. Your gaming room is dark, absolutely dark.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had never noticed it until I chased it and looked for it. And then I was like, okay, I
Mm.
see what they're talking about. So I definitely understand that. But I noticed on my G1, I also have a similar kind of pinkish tint on that display, but it's never really given me an issue. But I certainly would say the Samsung anti-glare finish is definitely not to my taste. And I
Yeah,
think
now
I would have
the
preferred,
D is even worse than my C. The
yeah,
C is slightly better than my G4 in my opinion. I like it. I really like it because the reflection handling on the S95C is just outstanding in my opinion. But then with the D, they made it even more non-reflecting or whatever. So it's
the
really reddish. You know what I
95D.
mean? So
The 95D,
so
you're talking with the matte finish?
S95D, yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
So that's
Yeah,
what Ariel has, and he said it already. It's really bad because he has the
yeah.
C1 compared to the C1. Of course, it's really bad, but he still says QD-OLED is so much better with all the other stuff that he don't want to change it. I mean, I understand this, and he just made a video today. He was ranting about that the S95F has anti-glare as well, so they're not going
All the
back like
flagships.
the G5, yeah,
It looks
which
like
is
Samsung, their whole flagship range across like LED, all their different TVs, they're all going to that matte finish. They're doubling down, which is
yeah.
crazy in my mind, but obviously somebody likes it. But what I was trying to understand is because I actually haven't personally had hands-on with a QD-OLED panel, and from what I'm reading and seeing online, is that a lot of people are saying that the QD-OLED black level isn't as dark as a WOLED. Do you know what I'm talking about, or you're not understanding?
Yeah,
Apparently,
that's
they're talking about it
no,
as
it's
soon as light
because
hits the panel, the black level raises it, but it's perceptual.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
but
think
it's
it's
the
a real thing.
same. It's almost the same on the G4 because of MLA. How the light is
Right.
reflecting. So in a dark room, there is zero difference. In a dark
Okay.
room or with very minor light or whatever, there's no difference between QD OLED or WOLED, WRGB OLED in terms of black level
Yes,
because it's OLED. You know,
of course. From Todd Toxmod, G6 will have MLA. We both said that. We both actually
we said
thought that.
this.
Yeah, as soon as
Yeah,
I saw the G5, I was like, man, next year it's going to be tandem with MLA again. But look, the one thing I will say about the G5, and I'm no expert, but it looks like they've actually been able to separate the colors much better, like very close to QD OLED, where they've actually been able to do the RGB spectrums and separate them a
yeah,
lot more, which is going to should make a significant difference in color luminance. So that's something I'm excited in. But I remember Marcus and you and I were texting each other the other day when all these things were coming up, and we were discussing the G5, and I said to you, man, my G4 is so bright, I often have to pull the brightness down. And so that's when I was kind of like I'm excited,
yeah.
but it's like if I'm
So
turning my brightness down, it's like, well,
yeah.
I get it for like specular highlights. When you're watching a movie, whatever, and you've got these 1-2% windows, you've got little lights on the streets or whatever, and you can see them and it's punchy, like, man, that's sick. But
I mean, this
yeah, I'm pulling my
I know
G4
what
back
you
all
mean.
day.
And I brought this up in my video because the question is, when is it too much? When is it too much? Because we now, so first of all, we need to understand brightness, how we see brightness with our eyes or our brain is not linear. Okay, so just because a TV now has instead of 1,000 nits, 2,000 nits, we don't see this as twice as bright. It's a little bit brighter to our eyes. That's why there is almost no difference in brightness between the CX and the G2. Even we're talking about 200, maybe 250 nits. Okay, in specular highlights, but our eyes say that's nothing. But the question is really how much is too much, because just this morning I was driving to work, and always when I go to over the hill, and then there's the morning sun, and it's, I don't know, 150,000 nits, I don't know, maybe a million nits, I don't know, it's very, very bright, and then you use your thingy thing on the car, I don't even know the German name anymore for this thing, to not
The sunshade.
yeah, sunshade, yeah, to make it a little bit better, that you actually can see something. So do we really want this on a TV as well, that let's say you played GTA or whatever, Gran Turismo 7, and then you go around a corner that pops up the sun and you have to, oh shit.
I tell you, the first time, it's a very interesting point. The first time I ever experienced my G4, and I was like, man, too bright. So just for people who are listening, it's an 83-inch G4, so G4. So obviously that's going to be brighter because there's just more screen real estate.
Yeah,
But I can't remember what movie it was, but I remember I was watching a movie and there was like a dark scene for 10 minutes. And then at the end of that dark scene, there was this explosion and it was
yeah,
so bright and my eyes had adjusted over the 10 minutes to a dark room.
yeah,
I remember when the explosion happened, I was actually like, oh, like too much. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So that's why I'm kind of maybe a little bit apprehensive going like the master at 888 keyboard, when is enough in case when is it enough in case of the brightness? Like we all get blind at a certain point, and that's exactly how I felt. And I'm not trying to be negative. I know some people think I'm always downer or something like that, but
No, no, no,
it
no.
is a
It's not
valid
about
point.
that. Because in my opinion, the CX, for an example, is not bright enough to enjoy HDR material. Some content is just way too dark. The G2 is really nice. Between, then I have the S95C, which is in my opinion wow, and now the G4, which is not again a little bit of a step up. Again, there's not much difference between the S95C and my G4, but a little bit. But you get my point, and I think this is fine. To be very honest, this is fine. What we need to work on is probably full screen brightness, that we have less dimming. If there's really like, or let's say you like to watch winter sport and a lot of white scenes, all the OLED TVs are dimming down because it looks dull. It doesn't look like a nice bright day anymore. That's what
Yes.
we need to have. The specular highlights, don't give me 10,000 nits. It's too much.
Well, we can get to the Samsung panel in a moment, but yeah, their nits are even more insane. But Gang08 said, will the 4-stack OLED panel improve color volume as well? Will it compete with QD-OLED? Well, I would like to jump on that straight away and say, in a sense, yes, because as you can see, if what they are showing is true, they've actually managed to separate the colors a lot better. So that means you'll get a higher color volume at brighter scenes. So in terms of how it will compete with QD-OLED, look, quantum dots are like pure color conversion. And so for those of you who are familiar, it's a blue layer underneath, and then you basically have like the red, the green, and then the blue comes through as well. And so that's basically blue light, and then the quantum dots just do pretty much a 100% conversion. So I don't know, because the LG will still have a W subpixel. So they're sticking with it, but I think one of the main things that at least I've been jealous of with QD-OLED is everyone's raving about the color luminance, the color volume. So if LG, and I think LG is a much better brand, particularly for gaming and HDMI CEC, I think they've just nailed it. I think if they can bring that up to compete with the QD-OLED's color luminance, I think that's going to be a very interesting proposition. However, it looks like the new QD-OLED panels, they're going like crazy 4,000 nits on a 3% window or something like that, but some insane brightness levels. But
Yeah.
when
So we
does
need
it
to
get?
yeah. With all these numbers, we need to be careful, because I think this, when they say 4,000 nits, that's the display, what the display can do, and I'm pretty sure the G5 can also do more. But they announced that the G5 with 2,400 nits, or apparently, or according to some the information, okay, but what we got. So this is what we can expect, probably 2,400 nits on the LG G5. But we can't expect 4,000 nits on the QD-OLED. I'm pretty sure. So this is what the panel can do, but they will limit this to a certain
See, this
point.
is how they get you, because I've been reading a lot of Samsung promo material and they're saying 4,000 nits, 4,000 nits. And I'm like, it's just insanity. But yeah, you're right. We do have to be very careful and
don't
make
get me
sure we're
wrong.
getting the right info.
If they're hitting 4,000 nits on a 3% window, which is more than enough to have nice, really crazy specular highlights, this would be amazing. So more important is actually that they announced the full screen brightness is now improved to around 400 nits in HDR. 400 nits HDR. This is again 100 nits more than the LG G5 can do. So this is wow.
Significant.
And coming back to colors, with the G5, yeah, it's great that they're actually now separated or having a better color volume. But what about saturation? What about luminance? because this is a problem always with the white subpixel. The brighter it gets, the more diluted the color's looking. So this can be an issue. So big question mark here. But I'm pretty sure LG knows what they're doing, so we will not see a black and white TV. No worries about that.
But as you can see here, you look at the CES display. They've got 2024 QD-OLED 3000 nits. Oh, that's rubbish. Let's move over to the 2025 4000 nits. It's it's insane.
I don't like this number. 5000 nits is better. Let's wait for 2026.
Absolutely. So yes, it is getting to that point where when is enough enough? So I think we should probably jump on a few comments and questions here.
Yep.
So I'll just quickly jump on this one from Chris D. How you going? I always see you around in the live streams. Thank you for joining us. The best thing for me about the new LG panels is that we are going to get the glossy black panel back. And I think, that's a big one. A lot of people I know will be very happy with that. And I actually think because Samsung's flagships are all that matte anti-gloss finish, I actually think that might push a few people back to LG this year. If their G5 is going to have competitive color luminance to a QD-OLED, man, I think a lot of people are like, man, I'd rather take the top of the line LG G5 and get that beautiful, glossy, inky black panel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that is such a striking thing. Like when I've walked into a room and you see it, even when it's off, and you just see that inky black panel, it's just such a striking thing to see.
Correct. So the G2 in my living room looks even you turn it off, it's not on. It looks so fantastic. It just fits with the silver housing. It's just wow, great. Again, G4 is good. Okay, don't get me wrong, but G5 will be even better. No doubt. So what do we have here? This one here. The S95F will be king of 2025. Hands down, there is no competition with quantum dot technology. I mean, yes, absolutely. I don't know if how far they can actually drive the panel, And it's just the third generation now. Well, correct. It's the third generation.
I am curious why they skipped
third.
E. Why did they skip E?
Because they said it sounds too similar to D, E, D, E. That's what I heard. That's the reason, literally. But from a marketing point, it makes even sense when you're just talking about S95D, S95E. It's really sound very familiar. F is complete different, but that's the reason apparently.
Okay.
Crazy, huh? Anyway, and the 4 stack will improve brightness overall. I hope so.
At least I've got something going right for once, man. So, look, this is an interesting comment from Umi. Every year, TV manufacturers concentrate on brightness. I don't see it being a good reason to update if you already have a modern TV such as an OLED. And I've said that just earlier in the stream. And I always feel like, man, if you're telling me they didn't have this tandem OLED last year, they could have implemented that into the G4. I think you're silly, because I personally feel that these manufacturers have panels 3-4 years in advance, and they just give you a little bit every year to keep you going. Because if they blow their load all at once, then what have they got to go on? You know what I mean? They have to get a return on their investment with their R&D. So they're kind of slowly drip feeding you everything. And like we're making jokes now. Oh yeah, G6 MLA with tandem OLED. Don't be surprised. It probably won't happen, but man, it may make a comeback in the future iterations.
I think this will happen for sure. Well, I mean, they need to. So the reason why they removed it is because now they have a 4-layer stack. You know what I mean? So they can go with that. And next year they need to have a point to sell a new TV.
Well, think about it. The MLA layer, the thing I liked about it was a passive way of improving the brightness. So next year, if they just want to improve that TV and be lazy, they slap a QD-OLED, MLA layer over what they've done with the tandem, same power supply, same display, and they basically get another brightness jump on top of that. So Otaku Nate, I wish Samsung would upgrade build quality and software. One thing I will say is I saw FOMO's video where he showed the back of one of these Samsung's TVs, and it was like this gorgeous kind of like white silver finish. I couldn't really tell. Did you see it, Marcus? No. And like, I've seen a few other videos where people are showing it, going, "Oh man, the back of this TV, the build quality, oh my god!" And like, I get it. It was nice, man. It looked good, but once you slap it on the wall, you're never going to see it. You know what I mean? And I just kind of remembered, like, the first time I got my iPhone, I was like, "Oh man, this thing's gorgeous." Cover,
and then you put cover because $2,000 iPhone.
So that's why I'm just trying to manage my own expectations. It's like when they throw these pretty images at you, these numbers and all this stuff, it's easy to get pumped. And I'm excited. Don't get me wrong, as an enthusiast, I'm excited. But at the same time, a lot of these things are either small or things that don't really matter. But sorry, I'm not being negative. I'm just like going through my own process at the moment, so I can stop myself from buying the G5.
Let's see. So Gang 08, as a console gamer, LG's 165 hertz is not relevant to me. So all the new TVs having a 165 hertz, by the way. So it's really interesting, that I'm thinking they're talking to each other. Anyway, so you're right, because consoles, I mean, we can be happy when we have 60 FPS anyway. So Game Motion Plus would be interesting for the G5. Maybe they have something new, but I haven't heard anything about that.
Here's a good one here. So did other TV technologies besides OLED impress you this year? No. Until I see a true mini LED, self-emissive mini LED, I just don't think anything else is going to have the impact that OLED does. The only thing that gave me a little bit of hope was I heard from the new LG panel technology, it was cheaper. So let's see if they reflect that in the price, because generally the S95 whatever and the G series whatever, they're pretty much, at least in Australia, when they go on shelves, the prices are usually the same. So they're trying to compete. So it would be interesting to see if the G series will slowly undercut Samsung to get a few more people in.
Yeah, that's interesting. Samsung is still sticking with the One Connect box. I hope it's improved. I don't know about that. I have it on the S95C. I don't need it. Okay, let's say like this. But that's I don't know. It's get rid of it. Okay.
I had the One Connect box with my 8K Neo QLED, and I also have two Samsung the Frame TVs, which have the One Connect box. And I thought it was so cool at the beginning, and now I hate them, and I just wish they would go away. I would never buy another one. My 8K, all it had was dropouts, audio issues, picture dropouts all the time while gaming. And I just think it's just such a waste of time. It sounds cool, and I'm sure there are applications for it, but I've just had so many dropouts and troubleshooting headaches with it. Had to replace the cables, and I think it's not good.
3D content is coming back. I don't know exactly when or how, or do we need this? I mean, it's without glasses. That's the good thing, because then everybody can use it. I had the Panasonic, so Plasma back then was a 3D radio, whatever, and he had this active glasses. And there was a couple of movies what you can buy. And it was actually it was good, but not perfect, of course. It was flickering, and the brightness wasn't good and stuff like that. But it was already back then interesting. If we don't need now glasses, this is even better. But it shouldn't come with a big downgrade in picture quality or whatever.
Yeah, I had an old 65-inch Sony TV back in the early 2000s, I think. And I remember it had passive 3D, and it came with like 4 pairs of these little glasses you would put on. And man, look, I didn't watch a lot of it, but I did watch a few 3D movies, and I enjoyed it. Like, I know it died and it wasn't very popular, but if they can include it and it's not a big deal, it doesn't increase the costs, I think it would be cool to have. Definitely.
So Yusuf was in Las Vegas, and he did see the G5 and S95F, and I can tell you that Samsung are a lot better than G5. Well, really, you need to wear sunglasses, and wow, the colors, man. Okay, I haven't seen it. I have to trust you. That's it, you know. And I would, it would be interesting to see the G5 next to the S95F, of course, because that's not what was happening. But yeah, let's see.
Look, I think Yusuf, thank you for the comment, and that's great to hear. Someone who's actually been there and had eyes on, so to speak. I just think you have to remember, just like when you go to a store to look at the TVs are in store mode. So, obviously these TVs are going to be cranked up to the max to compete with everything else around it. And what you see might not be accurate, might not be indicative of a real world performance. But I know they eventually are going to be side by side. So I am excited, man. And look, they both sound like they're screamers. So it should be really exciting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for the comment.
We have here Gang 08. Is Panasonic OLED TV relevant again? Absolutely. They are. They're also using a new panel, but similar to LG, but no white subpixel. Or is it something what I missed? So because I just heard the news actually maybe a couple of hours ago. So maybe someone can update me on that.
The Panasonic Z95B appears to have the exact same panel as the G5. So,
Okay.
but we don't get Panasonic in Australia here,
No.
unfortunately. So they checked out a while ago. But it appears they've basically taken, because Samsung weren't talking. I'm sorry, LG were not talking about the G5 panel technology. They were keeping it quiet. Then Panasonic had their showcase, and they basically spilled the beans and showed the entire panel technology and how it works. And they have this new cooling system which helps keep the panel cooler.
Oh yes.
So
yes,
with the they moved the subwoofer up a bit higher, and it just helps the airflow go through a bit better. So I'm a bit surprised they're making such a big deal on that, because Panasonic had the G4 panel last year with MLA, and now apparently this new panel type is more efficient and runs cooler, yet they upgraded the cooling system. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it just makes me kind of go, okay, cooler panel, better cooling system. Like, okay, what am I missing here? But yeah, it appears that's the same thing.
They can keep it longer, the maximum peak brightness, they can keep it longer than,
of course,
slightly. So they're using exactly the same panel as the G5, huh? There's no difference then.
It's not official, but that's what all signs are pointing to at this stage.
Yeah, which is not good, which is not bad. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
So, but and Panasonic is really good in terms of the whole package, but yeah, unfortunately not here in Australia.
T. Beckett. So why do these manufacturers keep a tight lip on with details on their TV lineup reveals? I noticed too many reporters reporting struggling for details. I mean, it's a showcase meant to show off new tech. It's a valid point.
I don't know. I don't know, really.
Well,
so maybe they don't want to promise too much.
It raises the question, because LG obviously didn't want to talk about it, but Panasonic were buying the panels from them, and Panasonic were basically like, here it is. So I don't know why LG would not be forthcoming with that information. You would want to show off all this new tech and show, hey, we've got now colors to compete with QD-OLED, but not sure why. It's a very valid point. I often think the same thing. So
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
If someone doesn't want to talk about something, that means it's not good. But
all I can say is that, look, last year we went from, what was it, 144 hertz. This year it's 165 hertz. I would bet it might go up again next year. You know what I mean? It's like, it just seems pretty predictable at this stage. But yeah, it's interesting. So yes, another comment. Panasonic is using the LG panels, I believe. So
yeah.
I saw something else, a comment about, so we should probably go across to the new QD-OLEDs, since we've been kind of talking about both of them. What are your initial thoughts, Marcus? Have you had a bit of time to look at the QD-OLEDs?
Yeah, I mean, look, in terms of brightness and all this kind of stuff, the QD-OLEDs are already better than the LG panels. So, and from the pure numbers, Samsung will win this year as well, from the pure numbers, okay? But in regards of pictures, or the general picture, I mean, again, the G4 looks the same or better or worse or whatever than my S95C. There's no, there's no preference for me. So the G4 is brighter, yes, but in terms of colors, the content what I'm watching, I'm not missing anything on the G4, and I'm not gaining anything on the S95C. So it is again this little, the very little difference when you have probably very special graded content where the QD-OLED is then suddenly significant better. But if this is a real world demonstration, then that's a different story.
Yeah. As I said,
no curve from Marcus.
Sorry?
No curved monitor. No, I would like to have a 65-inch TV curved.
That would be sick for like a gaming display.
Because I'm just me using it. That's it. I'm not sharing it.
Let me put something up on the TV, on the screen, sorry, very quickly. So this was something that piqued my interest. So how do we remove that comment, Marcus? If you don't mind. There it is.
This wait.
So this was something that they're showing for CES now. So this is where I'm kind of like, okay, 3000 nits, 4000 nits. So they're saying, okay, so the OLED material, which is the electro, I can't remember, it's off the top of my head. But, so basically they've increased the efficiency to get more brightness out of the base layer, and that's basically pushing the quantum dots. Because as I said, from my understanding, and in the chat, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, quantum dots have basically 100% conversion. So the more you give them, there's no limitation on quantum dots. So you pump them harder, they'll just continue to essentially change that light. So I think it's the electroluminescence layer. I think that's right, and I could be wrong.
Okay.
If I am, I apologize. So this is kind of leading to my point. It's like, yeah, because I said 4,000 nits before. So that's quite a bold statement, 4,000 nits. And obviously they are just saying the highest number that the TV can achieve. But so this is what I was essentially getting to earlier was, so is that on a 1, 2, 3, 5% window? How long can it sustain that? How long can it sustain that brightness for? So look, 4,000 nits, even on like a 2% window, like that's insane. But I don't know. As I said, it's like my G4 is like often, man, that's bright. And I'm just thinking QD-OLEDs are just getting insane. So that's what I'm just trying to kind of grasp this concept, because even HDR content, you have to get certain HDR content that is graded for those levels to truly experience it. So like, I don't know many movies that are graded at 4, 5, 10,000 nits. I know they are out there, but in terms of games and stuff like that, are there any games, Marcus, that could support this kind of power?
Yeah. That's not a problem. With gaming, another problem. Movies is a different story. I really don't know what. I think that the common grading is 1,000 nits roughly. Maybe it changed already, because the getting brighter. Gaming is not a problem. Nah. Most of the games were supporting up to 10,000 nits.
Right. So PC gaming, you can configure games to go up to a 10,000 nit peak.
Yeah, you can this on console as well. That's not PC or console only. That's game. Right. The game can do this. If a game supports
games can do 10,000 nits? I don't know of many. It's the games that have their own kind of HDR calibration within the game. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yes, correct. Yeah. I mean, the PlayStation 5 can go, and the Xbox can go up to 10,000 nits. You can calibrate your TV. All the games what are supporting then the system calibration will use 10,000 nits. There are some games that can go up to 10,000 nits. I think it was it even Horizon? I mean, of course, they're supporting now the console calibration, but before the remaster, it was actually before the remaster from Horizon Zero Dawn, this game was mastered in 10,000 nits. So, but most of the games having sliders anyway, and you can choose between 500 nits up to 10,000 nits, depending on game. So, but 4,000 nits shouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean?
That's just nuts, man. Honestly, like as I said, I'm not trying to sound negative, but I just think, man, I want to see it. Like, that's what I'm saying. But all I can say is from my own real world experience that my G4 is like, sometimes I'm like, man, enough. But yeah, I guess you want to have some really good tone mapping on that TV to make sure you can utilize the full range of that brightness level.
I'm really looking. Yeah. I know. I'm looking forward to see more tests actually from the G5 in general, compared to the QD-OLED anyway, to the S95F, because again, brightness is not everything. We need to talk more about the colors and
processing.
That's
man,
when processing is already good. Come on, I mean, what can you do better? You know what I mean? It's really nice. It's good. I can't see a problem here. So Game Motion Plus or something equivalent similar would be good, for the LG OLED TV. But yeah, I don't know what LG is doing. We need to consider they like to sell something next year as well. So we will not see the best TV for the next 10 years. No.
See, this is another thing I kind of try to apply to myself in real life, and it's not just for TVs. It's when I'm going to buy anything, I always try to not buy the first generation. So whether it's a new car or let's just, because we're talking about TVs. I didn't buy the G3 because it was the first gen MLA. When the G4 came out, MLA Gen 2, I was like, okay, and this is not a given, but generally speaking, a lot of the bugs get worked out, things get improved. I know with QD-OLEDs, the initial Gen 1 panels, due to the pixel structure, it didn't look good with like text if you're connecting it to a PC, and they fixed that up. So right. So that's why I was kind of like, when I saw the G5, I was like, very cool, very interesting, looks amazing. I want to learn more, but first gen. So for me, I was like, okay, maybe next year I can only imagine what it's going to be next year. But when the G6 comes out, are they going to have, an additional efficiency improvement on top of what they've already had? So yeah, it's a Gen 1 thing. So that always kind of makes me a little bit apprehensive not to dive in straight away, especially when you're paying, top dollar.
Yeah, that's the next question. What will be the G5 cost? Is it now is it now cheaper because they removed MLA, or is it now more expensive because they have a 4-stack layer?
Well, the question is, as I said, they did say the new technology is cheaper. Whether they will pass that on to the customers or not is a different thing. Because as I said, they're pricing it at the top tier with the Samsung S95F. And at least in Australia, when those TVs launched, at least the 83-inch size, they were both 10,000 Australian dollars, which is a lot. So it's like, for anyone who reads the news, we all know LG and Samsung are really struggling against the Chinese giants, TCL, Hisense, and so on. So will they keep that extra money and put it back in their pockets, or will they cut their prices to try and get people to jump back onto OLEDs? Because, a $10,000 83-inch OLED, when you're getting Hisense and TCL 100 inches for sub $3,000. You know what I mean? It gets to a point where it's like, man, I don't think it's worth that much more money for OLED. Like, I know we do, but average consumers, man, that's the number. That's the people they're chasing. They don't care about us. You have to understand, they don't care about the top 5-10% of geeks like us who dig into this stuff. They care about the 95% of people that walk into a store and just buy TVs.
Absolutely. And now, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to buy the G5 on release day, because it doesn't make any sense. There must be such a big difference to the G4 that I will, oh my God, I need this for the channel. But it will be not. You know what I mean? It will be not. Because again, they like to sell a G6 next year. So maybe if there's a big step up to the G4 and I'm getting a very nice offer by the end of the lifetime from the G5, then why not? But not paying full price. Again, you're right. It's first generation. You know what I mean? So there will be an improvement next year. I mean, there's always an improvement. That's a problem.
Yes.
Yes. And I saw a comment. I like to see this one here. Going back to the Nvidia now. They claim the 5070 is as good as 4090, but they are saying that using multi-frame generation, but they are saying that with using, VRAM is much lower than a 4092. So this is what I said in the very beginning of the stream. It's not a 4090, not even close, because we're talking about 12 gigabyte of VRAM, which is not enough for 4K gaming at all, and probably some 1440p games, depending on the texture size, of course, will have problems. And if they're using frame chain to realize or get the frames, then it's not even close to a 4090. Come on. Because, so correct me if I'm wrong, but what if a game doesn't support frame chain? What are you doing then? So, no. Okay, don't get fooled by Dr. Leather Jacket Jensen. Okay, he's not your friend.
Another point on just what we were talking about earlier with potentially buying the G5. Another thing, and this is just an Australian issue, but by the time basically US gets the TVs months before us, you know what I mean? So it's like in 2 months that'll be all the guys on YouTube. They'll all have their hands on. They'll have the G5 and all the new TVs, and it's like by the time all that stuff happens and whatnot, 2 months will pass, and then they will hit in Australia, which frustrates me, because then when we finally get the TVs, we only get a good 7 months before the new ones are announced, if you know what I mean. So we always kind of like never get the full 12 years to enjoy, having that King TV. But it will be interesting to see, because I know now like shipping costs are up. I'm not sure how that goes with America, but at least to Australia, prices are through the roof. It costs more to get goods here. So we'll see how all that turns out.
I mean, just compare this. So the 5090 in the US is $2,000. Here it's $4,000. We're not earning twice as much as the US.
Our dollar is not worth half as much as a US dollar, maybe 40%.
No, it doesn't. But this is even the wrong comparison, because it doesn't make sense, because I'm getting so the average income here in Australia is similar to the average income in the US. There's not much of a difference. Of course, if you have a very good paid job, you get my point, okay? And the cost of living is also similar. It's not like a day and night difference. We're paying here significant more for hardware stuff like TVs, graphic cards. This is just absolutely crazy. Okay. So I'm even, maybe it's even makes some sort of sense, to import graphic cards, somehow, but
absolutely.
Let's see.
We have a comment from Josh Douglas. The Chinese brands are absolute trash. Now, these are the type of comments that I generally try to kindly push back on. I can understand, I think, man, 10 years ago, I think everyone had the same perception, like made in China, and they used to laugh, garbage. But man, look around, like time especially that time has passed.
Absolutely.
They are making competitive products at great prices. Like, look at the EV market. I know that's a completely different thing.
BYD is a great car.
Man, in Australia,
that's how it is.
We have, I think, over 30 different Chinese brands, because we don't have tariffs, because we don't have our own car industry in Australia anymore. All the car manufacturers have closed down. We don't put tariffs on our cars. So basically, we are flooded with Chinese cars that are so cheap and so good. I know I'm getting off topic here, but it's one of those comments you kind of got to think, man, like, is your own feelings getting involved there? But man, TCL and Hisense are making solid TVs. I have a 100-inch TV Hisense in my living room. Marcus, you were here, you saw it. Man, it was fantastic. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a TCL TV
No,
either,
absolutely not. So just, I know off topic, but when 2 years ago, when I was looking for a new car, I'm a huge Audi fan. I love the RS6 or whatever, and I looked for
Marcus,
a car.
You got a bit of cash there, buddy.
Yeah. So, and I ended up buying a Kia, because I got a brand new Kia with much more features then the used Audi, over 160,000 Ks used, 12 years old and whatsoever, RS6.
Half the
And
price,
cheaper.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
7 years warranty. So no, and it's a Korean car. Yeah, I get this. And it's a fantastic car. Unbelievable. So don't come with this, that the Chinese brands, whatever they are so much better now compared to 5-10 years ago. They can easily compete with all the Western products.
That's true, man. That's true. So here's a good question. So, hello everyone. How's 2025 gaming going? The first 8 days of it. Here is a question: should we wait for hardware revisions of the 5080 and 5090 like TI and second party and third party improvements, liquid core, or just buy the stock version? Marcus,
I never bought stock version. But you're talking about a TI, okay? So, but this will take some time. On you know what I mean? The TIs are always in the later circle. So, and the only thing is, do you need a new graphic card? Yes or no? Then buy it. That's how it is. Or do you like a new graphic card? Because you don't need one. Let's be fair here. Well, let's be realistic. It's about that. If you like to have something new and you can afford it, go for it. So it will never end. It will never end.
Yeah. One thing, because I've kind of tapped out of the PC game, no pun intended, a couple of years ago, so I am a little bit behind. But I do remember, like, I had to be very aware of bottlenecks. So if I had like a 2 or 3 year old motherboard, and I was putting in, say, now a 5090 Ti or something like that, I had to kind of really figure out, was my motherboard holding back that graphics card, or did I have any bottlenecks where my memory wasn't fast enough or something like that? So I really, PC's brutal, man. But you're never going to have the top. That's one thing that used to frustrate me, because it's even worse than TVs. At least TVs are a yearly cadence, where PCs, like every couple of months, man, it's like new graphics card, new RAM, new this, new that. So, yeah.
I mean, if this is right, I remember Audi wanting to charge a subscription for heated seats.
BMW did that.
Oh, okay. So and I like to know this from you guys in the comment section. I have in my Kia, I have cooling seats. Who else got this? Who else?
That's because Marcus is too hot.
I'm so hot. No, but I'm just telling you, it's an affordable car and it has a lot of features. The same with Hisense. It's affordable, it has a lot of features. The step up to an LG TV, yes, it is visible. You can see it, but you pay significant more money. That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're good. They're good.
Absolutely.
What else do we have?
Guys, if you have any questions, please send them through. We're happy to answer some questions now.
The thing is not just with upgrading the GPU. So what is your CPU actually? Can it handle the new GPU? So can your CPU actually produce enough frames that you can use a 5090 Ti?
That's what I was saying. You've got to look out for the bottlenecks, like if there are certain parts of your PC that are holding you back. So sometimes, just buying the best. You have to buy everything the best.
And the thing is, always, I don't know. So if I would have more time to play, then I would probably buy the 5090 immediately, because then you want to have the best experience. If you like to do something, do it properly, okay? But the fact that I hardly game actually, because I don't have time, and for my testing right now, a 4080 is more than enough. It's fine. Again, if there's anything in the near future what requires a 5090 to actually compete with other YouTube channels, then I have to do it, or I will do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, another thing I might add on. Oh, yes. Go on. So Tox Mod said PC games are so unoptimized that they have Alex Battaglia from Digital Foundry crying out to developers to please optimize these games. And that's something I don't miss. I used to fix PCs for a living, and man, it was just always something like, you had to come home and always optimize drivers. There was always issues, antivirus, all these things, man. I got sick of all that stuff, but I've always seen him making a big fuss.
I mean, it's annoying, you got a 4090, 5080, and 5090, whatever, and then you have stutters in the game. and you have the same game on the console and you have no stuttering, okay, lower frame rate, lower graphical fidelity, all good, but the game runs smooth. It's just sometimes it's weird. Oh yeah, this one here. Yeah, so we can actually then use path tracing on the 5090, and we're getting probably 60 FPS. Now, I would expect actually more than 60 FPS with a 5090 and path tracing. But I have to say, Indiana Jones, ray tracing always on. I was very concerned about this in the first place, but it is without any problems in 4K max details, no path tracing, playable with around 60 FPS on my 4080 all the time. So this is really nice, and this is the engine. What they're using? I forgot the name, but it's not Unreal Engine. Thanks God. So it is possible actually to have very good and great looking games, very good performance and great looking games on the PC. Unreal Engine is the problem. That's the question. Gang08. Marcus, will you get a 5080 and 5090 for new content? Look, I'm thinking about this a lot because what I have done with the PlayStation 5 Pro, I haven't used this in a while, my PlayStation 5 Pro. Again, I don't have time to play, okay? But I bought this actually just for the channel. And I made so many videos that it was worth to invest the money. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if it will be the same with a 5080 or 5090. Probably with a 5090 more than with a 5080. But we're talking about 4,000 Australian dollars. You know what I mean? You know how many videos I have to do to get this money back? It will not happen. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Comment section.
Look, well, as I said, Adam. I'm not a PC guy, but it's wild to me to think you can spend $4,000 on just a graphics card, and let's just say you're building a PC. Like just indulge me. Okay, I'm getting back into gaming, Marcus. I want that graphics card. It's $4,000. Cool, I'll buy it. So I've got the graphics card now in my hands. I have to build something around it. What's that going to cost me at a level where this graphics card will then be able to perform at its best? So am I looking at another $2,000-3,000 for motherboard, case, chip, processor?
Let's start talking about. So you need a case first of all. You can have a case for $50, but you don't want to have a $50 case for a 5090. So you go probably for $200-250 because a case you can use a long time. So I would always recommend to invest more. Power supply. Never
but I'm
buy a
new.
cheap
I'm brand
one.
new. Like, so just like me, I have nothing. So I've got to buy everything.
I know. You have nothing. So, and you like to go into gaming. So that's why if you like to go into this, don't buy the cheap stuff because you will regret it. Because if you like to upgrade later on, which is mandatory for PC gaming, you maybe need to upgrade much more, and you just spend a little.
That's what I'm trying to say. So what would you say if I said I wanted that graphics card, $4,000? Okay, so I'm going to need a high-end chip. So what's the best ones these days, Intel or AMD? Like what are?
I would go with AMD, but that's my decision.
AMD,
and you're looking at $800-$1,000. No,
for a CPU.
Yes, if you like the high-end one, yes, correct.
Man, I am going to have to start working the corner on Saturday nights just.
I applied for McDonald's. I'm doing the night shift. So no, but that's how it is. You're looking at $800-$1,000 if you like the latest.
So I'm legitimately looking at a potential $10,000 Australian dollar PC to get like a top of the line gaming PC.
Only 10,000 is crazy. Maybe, but 8,000 you can easily spend
$4,000 graphics card. I'm already almost halfway there.
And then a 64 gig. Yeah, I mean. $8,000, I would say you get a really, really good one, high end.
Brother, I could get that G4, that sexy G4 you have in the background, a PS5, an Pro, an Xbox Series X, and a box of popcorn and a 2-liter Coke, and have plenty of money left over.
No, but that's how it is. Again, I paid $1,800 Australian dollars for my 4080, and I was looking at the 4090 because I'm not stupid. I know the 4090 is better in general, but not worth another $1,500. I can buy another 4080, 40. It's the same now. 5080, $2,000. 5090, $4,000. I can buy two 5080s for 5090. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think for me personally, that is a little bit cost prohibitive. That's a little bit out of the line. I know in America they have Craigslist. In Australia we have something called Gumtree, pretty much a similar thing. I have often looked on there and seen people selling secondhand gaming PCs, like all built out. It might only have a 2000 generation graphics card and bunch of RAM, all that stuff, and they're like, oh, $600, and I'd rather just go and buy something like that and just play on that until I'm ready to go up.
Yeah.
But that's insanity, man.
Now that's why also the consoles are getting more expensive, because I'm pretty sure Sony is not stupid as well. They know that the consoles are delivering a pretty good performance for the price what you have to pay. That's why they're increasing. So we will see a big step up in price for the PlayStation 5, 6. I guarantee you. It will be over easily, because now the PlayStation 5 Pro is already $1,200. We're talking about $1,500 for the PlayStation 6 here in Australia. I'm pretty sure. I will be very surprised if it will be below $1,000. It's no point. PlayStation 5 Pro is already $1,200. PlayStation 6 will be slightly more expensive. I'm pretty sure.
That's the thing for me personally, and maybe I'm the exception here. I am more than happy. I would rather because I'm an Xbox guy primarily. I'd rather say here's $2,000. Give me a king Xbox that's going to be somewhat competitive with PC. The benefit of console is every game is designed for one set of hardware. I think where PC does fall short and why you need so much grunt and power is because every PC is different. Every PC has a different processor, different RAM, different graphics card, and you have to be able to cater for everything, and you can't optimize for one standard layer of hardware. So that's why I feel like consoles have that benefit there. One set of hardware, make it sick, charge me $2,000 and basically get me something like close to a 3000 series, 4000 series GPU. But it's probably never going to happen.
Also not because they don't, because then they're not selling anymore. You know what I mean? So same. So 5090. Everybody now in the comment section is talking about 5090, but it's just out of those 60 people watching, maybe just 5 people going to buy a 5090. You know what I mean? And we already nerds. So just because they're not going to sell a lot 5090s compared to 5070 or something like that. That's how it is. So the lower entry cards or the mid-range cards are actually making the money for the companies. It's the same for AMD as well. Yeah. But they will increase the prices. This is a good question. Do we have DLSS 4.0 on the 4080 as well? Because then it would be, then there's no, I don't think I'm upgrading then, to be honest. I don't know this.
For you. From Gang08, yeah, at least Nvidia gave 4000 series owners a free update for DLSS and single frame generation.
That's what I'm asking. If I can use the same things now, like frame gen and DLSS 4.0 on the 4080, what's the point of a 50 card then? So I know there's more, with AI and stuff like that. Yes, I know. But that's the most important thing, DLSS and frame generation, for gamers.
Yeah.
I don't know this.
Quentin McQueen, question for Marcus. I wanted to ask, do you know if the TCL, I'm assuming it means C855, we get here in Australia is the same as the TCL QM8 they get in America? I can't say for certain. I know you didn't ask me, but I generally don't think so if they typically name them very similarly. Or, they are the same. So I would say no. You have any idea, Marcus?
I have no idea, to be honest. No idea. But, and I wouldn't even know how to find this out because, I don't know. Can be so many difference, so much. I really don't know.
I've tried doing that in the past with Hisense TVs that they release in the States with the Australian equivalent model names and try to find some comparisons, and they generally don't line up. And quite often we get generally very different TVs, at least with Hisense. So I assume TCL would probably be different as well.
Yeah, Darkney is writing 5090 cost is more ridiculous than girlfriend maintenance. No, it's not.
Zing.
Depends
wait till you get married, bro.
Wait.
Wait to get married, man. Much more expensive.
Now, yeah, you have the wrong girlfriend then, because nowadays, equality, they have to pay as well or spend money. That's how it is,
Yeah. Darkney said, Uncle Phil already waved the white flag on Xbox. It's not happening. Time to move to PlayStation. So I'm not sure if you saw the rumors. The new Xbox is apparently going to be called Xbox Prime, or that is at least its working name.
Stupid name.
I don't know, but it's all over the internet. Everyone's talking about it. And Uncle Phil has actually said he is in for at least one more generation. So I definitely think you might be needing to do a bit more research. I'm super excited, man.
Xbox Prime. I'm getting it. No questions asked.
I'm
getting the Switch 2 as well. So even it's not in use then, but it's about the tech. I like to know it.
And look, that's just a rumor. I could be wrong, but that's what I've been reading. So I hope they come in with more.
Does this Xbox has then an Amazon Prime subscription?
Probably.
Well, that's not They have silly names actually for their consoles. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how it is.
Jeez, there's some harsh comments about Xbox in the chat. Ooh, some haters, man. Jeez.
Really?
Yeah.
I like my Xbox.
I love my Xbox, man. I'm always on Xbox, and yeah, if anyone wants a game, hit me up. I'm always playing games in the evenings. Chris D 1981 Gaming Tech. I already answered this. Even the RTX 2000 series will get DLSS 4 super resolution and reconstitution features. Only multi-gen frame gen 3X, 4X is exclusive to the 5000 series.
Yeah, okay. So I would need to know more about the frame generation, because we're talking about 4 times frame generation. So is this also then 4 times higher input lag or response time, or what are we talking about? It's fake frames. Where does it come from? Is it good or not? I don't know. And look, for the testing, what I'm doing for my channel, testing HDR, whatever, I don't need 120 FPS. Even I'm testing games at 30 FPS, and you have later on a 7090, it doesn't change anything with HDR. That's the same. So, Xbox dead. No, I don't think so. But it doesn't look that great for Xbox as well, I'm telling you. But they're not great. No, not that. What they're missing is, I don't understand why they can't make a proper game.
Indiana Jones is good. Is good, man.
No, but it's also on the PC. It's not a console exclusive game,
and it's coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, of course, later. Okay, but anyway, and probably better as anyway, because PlayStation 5 Pro. But that's not the point. We have no console exclusive Xbox game. Not a single one. There's no game. Everything else is playable on the PC as well. And this is the big advantage from the PlayStation 5. And don't come in with the game's coming on PC 2, 3, 4, 5 years later. So it's no point.
Yeah, it's hard for me. I'm such a big supporter of Xbox. I've always liked them, and
me too. I like
games.
the software and stuff like that. They are better with VR freezing support, Dolby Vision support. Even it's not Xbox fault, that they're not using Dolby Vision in games properly. But they are in general better with the hardware and software, how they use it. Much better. 120 hertz always on option.
Yeah,
perfect.
I like to remind people that, when I meet people that are like, oh, Apple sucks, Samsung rules, or one of those Xbox sucks, PlayStation rules. You need to remember, like, having that other brand there really keeps the market in check. If Xbox disappears, PlayStation will just go, oh, you like PlayStation? $200 a game. What are you going to do?
Yep.
Go buy a PC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
they will just take control and like, yeah, I agree with a lot of the comments. Xbox has made some mistakes. They really messed up with the Xbox One. I love the Xbox One, but they made a lot of mistakes with their DRM and things like that. But we need Xbox, man, because aside from Nintendo,
Absolutely.
which are kind of in their own lane, we don't have anywhere else to go.
Nintendo is their own, you know, they can, even Xbox and PlayStation working together, they can't compete against Switch or Nintendo. It's a complete different story. It's a complete different market group. Okay.
It is amazing they've actually managed to make gaming consoles but have a completely separate market. And most people I know that have a Switch also have like an Xbox or a PlayStation or both.
Yeah.
Switch seems to be the
but
one
it's
that
the games.
everyone loves.
It's exclusive games.
Yeah,
you can't play any Mario game on any other console. It's not there. And don't start with Astrobot. It's not even close to Super Mario.
Game of the year. What is going on? But anyway, there's a question for you here, Marcus, from Antonio Stefan. Question: can we expect a video for G4 review, best settings for PC, PS5, etc.?
Very simple. Just turn it on. That's the best setting. No, that's a problem. You know what I mean? It's really, I don't even know what to talk about in a video like that, because I can go through the settings, but nothing will change. I will not change any setting, because this is why I recommend LG over Samsung for that reason, because you turn it on, you start using it, you don't need to worry about anything. Okay. So the only thing what in game mode is still what you have to change is the color tone from warm 0 to warm 50, in my opinion, because it's too bluish then. Not sure why they're doing this still, but the rest is out of the box perfect. I don't know what to say. You know,
I will mention something to you, Marcus. When you came to my house last time, you calibrated my 83-inch C1, if you recall.
Wasn't much difference.
Yeah, there wasn't much difference, but I will say, when I go from my G4 to my C1, I actually feel like my C1's very blue, but I'm trying to work it out if it's just my perception or what it is. But I would, when you come back for our next set of videos, I really want you to see if you can see it too. Like, I'm just trying to figure out if it's, you know, sometimes your eyes play tricks on you, because I know that TV is calibrated, so that would be technically more accurate than my G4.
But the thing is always, you know, we need to consider one thing. So I'm not using a high end colorimeter. Okay, so this colorimeter what I used was $600. So it's not a cheap one, but it's not a high end one. So there is, you know, it doesn't mean that this is perfectly out of the box. So maybe this colorimeter would need to have some adjustment as well. You know, so the thing is, what you can expect after calibration, that everything is linear. Same, okay, but you don't know how the colorimeter is actually where it is starting to measure. You know, maybe it's out of the box to blue anyway, or maybe to reddish, and then you get a very, very nice reddish picture, but it's too reddish. You know, so that's why I didn't even test here. I never tested here. I never put the colorimeter on this TV to check anything. Because what I learned is it really doesn't matter. You turn on something, you like it, forget about this. All the rest is gone. Why bother? You know?
But you say that the amount of people I know with their TV on vivid mode out of the box, and they're like, if I turn it off, they're like, what are you doing? It looks terrible now. So yeah.
Just leave them.
Just go somewhere else.
To be a friend. Yeah. We're using vivid mode? Okay. Unfollow.
Still got a lot of people commenting on the Xbox and how much they hate it, so it's very, very interesting. I didn't realize people were so Sony passionate, and
it's I don't want to go into this, but there's so many interesting characters out there.
Well, guys, we'll probably get to wrapping up the video, I'd say, shortly. What do you think, Marcus? If anyone wants to throw any last moment questions at us, we're happy to respond in any way we can.
I'm just looking through the comment section again, but so in regards of videos, so what I will do is, after this live chat stream here, I am going to finalize my CX versus G2 versus G4 video. Okay, it's just a very quick one, and I will do some talk over. just to show you actually the brightness difference, because there's literally no difference in terms of colors. Okay, so forget about this. Okay, so you can and all the TVs are measured completely out of the box. Okay, so I deleted all the calibrations on my G2 and the CX. The reason why, because I like to show you what you can expect when you have a CX at home, or when you get a new TV out of the box, because that's the point. I can make the G4 look absolutely terrible compared to the CX, and you will think, oh, why should I upgrade? Okay, that's not the point. Okay, all the TVs are measured out of the box with the factory settings, and you will be surprised. There's not a day and night difference between all those TVs. It's interesting.
Yeah,
But
I would
that's the
actually
only
like
video
to
what I
ask.
planned.
I'd like to ask the audience before we wrap up, because we have roughly 70 people in here at the moment. How many of you guys have had your TVs calibrated? Because if it wasn't for Marcus, I actually searched high and low in Australia, in Sydney, for calibrators, and I could not find one. So I don't know if it's any different in the States, but I would dare say like a very high probability, high 90s, that people do not calibrate their TVs. So I think out of the box calibration, or sorry, not needing calibration out of the box, I think that's a very important thing these days. Like the fact that the G4 is just so good out of the box, it's I think people don't realize how lucky we are. But there's one. Nice, Josh. Good for you, man. That's cool.
Did it himself. Yeah, perfect.
What meter did you use, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
So if you can add that in, but I don't think it's a dying art.
Yeah. No, because it's not needed anymore. You know what I mean? Or I would say it was needed, especially with plasma TVs. When I had my plasma TVs, they were terrible out of the box, absolutely terrible, especially gamma curve and stuff like that. There was no HDR back then, okay, just SDR content, but they were so bad. But DCX already out of the box is really, really nice, but not comparable. Very, very green magenta, compared to the G2 and also the G4. G4 is just on spot. At least what I can see with content, okay? Again, I never measured it. I don't have the need to do it because it's just good.
Yeah.
Yeah, less than 0.1%. Wow, okay.
Yeah, I would dare say it's pretty much next to no one that does it. And for the amount people charge, you would have to get a really high-end TV and expect to get something crazy out of it. But the fact that we are getting to the point where we don't have to calibrate our TVs is a good thing. I
would like to have, because I'm always asking Classy actually to join one of our chats, but he is always so busy. I would like to ask him this question: if there's really now still, because he's doing calibrations and he is going around the US, so he's making money with that. So I don't want to, play this off and it's not needed and whatsoever. So
it's a specialty.
I would
market,
like to,
though.
Yeah, I would like to know if it's really what he can see, if there's really a difference, and if he would recommend this. But on the other hand, again, if you buy an 83 or a 97-inch LG OLED TV and you like to have the best out of it, you spend another $500.
Yeah, I get it. So from Tox Mod said, I've only had 2 TVs professionally calibrated after that. I just use my eyes because I already know what the colors look like. And man, I will actually say that's definitely some validity to that comment, because I can certainly say that between my G4 and my C1, which the C1 is calibrated and the G4 is pretty spot on, I've actually managed to go around to my other TVs and get them. Obviously, they're not calibrated, but eyeball them to a similar kind of look and feel. And so I definitely think there is some truth to that. Like, as long as the TV is not on Vivid, I think you're doing pretty well, because the amount of people I know that their TVs are just on Vivid, it's insane.
Anyway, that's a different story.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I know Classy is getting over, but I like it because so if you like to know every bit of a new TV release, then you have to watch Classy's videos. I know it's very, very technical, and for some people probably absolutely boring. That's why they rather look other channels then. But I need to watch this because I need to know this. I can't watch Linus talking about the G5. because he's not talking about the stuff I'm interested. He's more a fun channel. So something like that. But I get this. Not all people, but that's good.
Yeah, and that's where you get the difference between us and YouTube. Is like my channels in layman's terms is specifically because I have a technical background. I like to get technical, but I like to try and keep my channel very general, low level, and I try to discuss things in a way where I think people who don't know too much can listen to me. I think Marcus is a step above me in terms of how technical he is, but then you go to Classy and he's just so far in front. He's so technical, and he's amazing at what he does, and he knows his stuff. But yeah, it can be a little bit long-winded. So yeah, it's
absolutely
personal preference.
Let's take this as our last comment, because he's absolutely right. So he doesn't like the warm color look. And sharpness set to 0, so he doesn't like this. I know those are the correct settings, but it's not for me. And story ends here. Full stop. It's not on me to tell you what is correct or not, because you like to play on your screen, you like to play on your monitor or TV. So set it up as you like it, but don't use vivid mode. No,
it's interesting.
But even the vivid modes are now better than before. They're not like crazy isoring anymore. They're absolutely wrong. Don't get me wrong, but they're not as crazy as they used to be. Because
you know what, when I meet people that have their TV on vivid and I change it to say like a warmer setting or a cinema mode or something like that, and they hate it, what I say to them is this: I say, use these settings for like 1-2 days of TV watching. And then at the end of the second day, when you've been watching TV all day, say on a weekend, at the end of the day, when you're used to it, go change it to vivid. And if you still like vivid, go back to vivid. But most people will go, man, vivid looks shocking.
I know. Yeah, but that's good exercise, actually. Okay, guys, any last wishes? Any last questions?
Last wishes. Jeez, that's a dangerous prospect.
Yeah.
I'll be like, take it off, Marcus.
So who is
Super chats. For
my God, it's so simple.
$100 that comes in on a super chat from now.
Check my OnlyFans account.
Yeah, he will take off a piece of clothing.
Oh my goodness.
My wife will send $100 in now.
Please keep it on. Please keep it on here. $100. Keep it on. No, sorry, unfortunately, we're not female, because otherwise we would have much more viewers. I'm not. That's the fact. That's how it is. Anyway, yeah. Only fans account. That's what I need.
Fans. Chris D said, I don't know if this is an insult or not, but he said these days you just go to YouTube for some guys and you are 99% there. I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment or not, but
so what does it mean? You're 99%, so the last 1% is a professional? Then it's not why is it an insult? No. I'm not considering myself as a.
I think he's talking about
I read it like that. Yeah. I read it like this. It's fine. I'm not a professional. That's the thing. Professionals like Glassy is a professional. He's doing this professional for a living. He knows what he's talking about. I'm just repeating his stuff.
Professional is somebody who gets paid to do something. So if someone's paid you once, you are technically a professional.
Yeah, but even then, it doesn't mean that you're good.
Anyway, Mod just said we're just all enthusiasts, and I think that's a great comment to maybe wrap up the stream on it. So yeah, just wanted to say thank you very much, and we're all here because we're all enthusiasts. We're all excited about CES, and for our Australian viewers,
all CES 2026. I know it's just 364 days left.
I know. Marcus and I have been discussing. We've reached out to Ariel and Stop the FOMO. I had a couple of back and forths with FOMO. FOMO said he will be, when CES is over and he's back home and settled, we invited him to join us and Brian. I'm not sure if Brian will be attending on a live stream, so they can debrief our Australian and international audience on everything they've learned and experienced, and hopefully we can pick their brains. So that will be really cool. So hopefully that'll be, I'm not sure when CES is wrapped up. So maybe in the next week or two.
Yeah.
But Marcus and I are planning to go over to CES together next year. So that should be fun. We're starting to do preparations for all of that. So super excited.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of you guys have caught the videos Marcus and I did together. Marcus came to my place and we did a 2-part video. It's on my channel. If you haven't seen it yet, please go and check it out. We spent a lot of time. Marcus flew here, spent all his own money to get here. So put a bit of effort into it. And if you guys can check it out, we'd appreciate it. But my point is that Marcus is now returning for part 2. He couldn't get enough. So we're going to do, we've got a couple of days together where we're going to do a bunch of videos. So if anyone has any suggestions, ideas, anything they would like to.
So what we like to do is, when we do those kind of videos, is really like more Linus Tech Tip style. Okay, and I think that's a great idea from Adam. It's more fun. It's not technical, not as technical related, and I think that's a good point, because otherwise we wouldn't need more time to do the videos anyway.
Yeah, we'd need days and days to work.
Yeah, no. So more fun videos, whatever. Just put it in the comment section later on what you want, or would you like to see. And
and if you want to email me in layman's terms at hotmail.com if you have any suggestions. But yeah, check out the videos. You can just comment Marcus Tech Tips. You can check out the videos I have on my channel. If you want, just add comments in there. Just say, oh, maybe do this next time. But we had a lot of comments. Oh, you didn't do enough, this by this comparison, or these looked crushed and this wasn't good enough. And, oh, the LCD looks better than the OLED. And it's like, well, we're trying to just have a bit more fun, keep it simple. I saw that thread you and this other guy were in, Marcus. I was just laughing.
I stopped.
I saw you just kind of tapped out. But yeah, we're going to do some more fun stuff. So I'm super excited, and I'm really looking forward to having Marcus down here again to do some more stuff. So, and if you would like us to live stream while we're here together, let us know. We can live stream while we're recording, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just looking to the community for more stuff. So yeah, that's all from me. Sorry to drag it on, Marcus.
No, all good. And yeah, that's it, I think. It's time to say goodbye. So. Okay. See you, most of you guys, on Sunday, and the rest of the guys on Wednesday again. Okay.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. See you next time.
Okay.